Hi everyone. So today I'm modeling safety and it's extremely uncomfortable because I don't feel safe right now. Not because I'm not safe. Um, it's because every time that I use my voice powerfully, this has been trauma that has been reiterated throughout life. I've literally been squashed. And so right now, of course, that's activated because I'm really close to the finish line on some really important things. And this, of course, gives my work a lot of legitimacy. And so here's what I've learned about my complex PTSD is, yes, my brain is wired a certain way and it affects my body a certain way. And right now, my nervous system really wants to warn me that, hey, doing this thing is really dangerous. It feels extremely dangerous to me. And I feel it right in my chest and I feel it in my solar plexus. And the thing is, I can't ignore this because this has saved me so many times in my real life. I've been going toe to toe with grown men since I was 14. As a Latin woman. And I'm sure you can imagine in every arena, at church, at school, like training at school with the technical assisting, the choirs, multiple at once, the workload. So I've been going toe to toe to a lot of people for a long time. And so with my recent diagnoses, this is really challenging me because the diagnoses has given people outside of me a lot of power to decide how I'm experiencing the world, which is really affecting the reality I live today and why I need to do this work. But the safety that I'm creating today is obviously I have the safety in my body because you can see my nervous system wanting to respond and my muscles tense up. But my mind is very clear about what I want to do. And I'm also knowing that it's okay that my body's doing this. It's going to do that. It's going to feel the electricity of warning moving through my body. And it's going to tell me that, hey, stop. This is going to be a catalyst for some really bad things. Even though what I'm doing is typing up a blog, basically, or responding to my editors or responding to my producers. And or anybody who's supporting me that's left that hasn't been run off by these people. So a lot of things I'm doing myself. And the thing is, I've discovered I'm actually really excellent at a lot of these things, which has given my body permission to see that there are a lot of people outside of me that are making a lot of assumptions about me that are just not based on anything, first of all, of reality, or a reality that merits their kind of attitude or approach. The second piece is it's forced me to really own the way that I receive that and experience that. And actually, ChatGPT has been great because it showed me all the ways that I'm being invalidated, and then I make it tell me. So then I can learn and observe. Because it's not their responsibility. Yes, their words are unkind and thoughtless and don't consider any care despite how much you want to sell me that you're concerned about me. If you were concerned about me, you wouldn't try to remind me that it's Easter and that my son isn't with me. Because that's the level of abuse that I'm dealing with on the streets, beyond the abuse that I'm dealing with at home. And this isn't perceived. These are genuine attitudes that feel like a bullying on my street now. And in honoring those things that feel loud when I'm safe, I've been actually able to detect who are the people that have ill intention for me before they round the corner. And I calm myself and I prepare myself and I'm in my power. And so when I respond and I meet them toe to toe with their own lack of awareness by responding in a way like, yeah, I'm always minding my own business. When they ask me, oh, I haven't seen you out. You're always out. Because I finished my outside projects. And then when I was out finishing my outside projects, the abusive neighbor that's clueless insisted on telling me it's like gonna be 3 degrees. I don't know why this lady insists on telling me it's gonna be 3 degrees every time I see her. But literally, and so I've cut on, these are scripts. These are scripts to undermine me, to trigger my trauma. And I've pinpointed it. And the PTSD is a real thing, folks, where you can have anxiety to be out in the world because the people that you've trusted have betrayed you so many times. And then kissed you on the face and said, okay, now be nice. Don't tell anybody. Or worse, they start undermining, infiltrating to continue to keep you quiet. And I've had to have the realization that I've never been in a safe space because the people that I thought were safe looked exactly like the people that were unsafe. They were identical. And so I'm literally walking around taking ownership for how I experience everybody else's bad behavior. And I'm still dealing with the repercussions of the lack of care, concern, who knows? Time, space. So I've decided that I matter. And so I need to create safety for myself. And so as I was gonna sit down and have this get ready for podcasts, as well as some other recordings, of course, this is my ownership. Every interaction starts to play. And while those things are all valid and true, and I need to honor that and let it go as well, because now that I see the charge, when I'm not on camera, I'll get a chance to revisit it and really let it go. Because if this is what my body's been primed to do, is to cower on command, I will fight it every step of the way, even if I don't have to fight anybody outside of me. I will fight my body every step of the way to not become a tool for somebody else's abuse of power. And so my accountability part here is that I would love to tell you that I'm in this heroic situation, but I'm not. I'm fighting for my life here. The only way I have been allowed to. And that is slowly being stripped from me while I'm being attacked emotionally on my own property by people who think that I am the problem. When I'm telling them that I prefer to be in charge of my own schedule and garden regardless of the weather, in whatever I wish to garden in, and finish my projects at my own pace. And it is bullying when I'm already telling you, no, what you're telling me is not how I want to experience it. Thank you. Enjoy your version of that. And like, honestly, I had to turn around and walk away from this woman for her to comprehend that I was not going to continue to have this conversation with her because her agenda was completely invaluable to me and now was actually intrusive while I was just trying to sit on my porch and breathe in and breathe out. And I only looked up and waved because that's the polite thing I've been taught to do. But I'm no longer responsible for anybody else. You guys have made sure of that. Everybody involved in this process, from the doctors who diagnose and assume that they know what PTSD looks like. I'm going to publish a paper, or by the time this is posted, might already have, where I ask for a scientific analysis on something and am provided with all of this. And I'm going to publish it. And this is my accountability to hold safety. That may hurl more hate onto me and people like me. But I'm holding ChatGPT accountable for the language, the abusive programming, and I'm putting that out there publicly. And I can tell you that a lot of people are looking at my work, and I'm either on the platform of the elite and I'm just the idiot talking, let's just lock her up already. Or I'm the canary in the coal mine, people. And everybody knows better than me in certain spaces than to show who they really are in public. Because then you end up in examples and situations where we are today, where we don't know our own physiology. If I really bought into the story that there was something wrong with me, every time my body got loud, I'd have to crumble. Because that's the programming I'm giving myself. But I refuse to do that because it works for everybody but me. It makes my parents comfortable so they can believe that their religion is good and that they're just delivering good news. And it makes my former employer comfortable because they chose the right one, or I was always one of, the beehive people. Never to enter into that world. And groomed. Which is what it feels like. And so now I'm here, just trying to do my job. And all of that terror flows up. And my accountability is ground and decide that I'm not, well, I can access what it feels like to have that charge as a 2-year-old of being terrorized by everyone everywhere, and then having to smile about it and not tell. I know what that's like when I see that in others. And so I don't need to put my stuff out there. I don't need to stop myself from putting my work out there because there's so many people like me that don't even know they're living in their fight, flight, freeze. And then we see examples like Donald Trump and whatever his face is, who have destroyed the country, made a joke in the world of a empire. And I'm a nobody version of that. I'm a nobody version of that. So I stand here today holding myself accountable for being vulnerable, and also holding myself accountable for being powerful while I'm being vulnerable. Because everything I've done to get here, I have been working 10 times harder than everybody around me. Not because I'm better, but because my body demands it. In order to look like you, to write a blog post, to plant a garden and finish it, to finish a project, to be sitting across a boardroom from somebody knowing they're hurling hate at me because I can feel it the moment their gaze removes, and I'm not even looking at them, but I can see their reflection. When you live in a house like that for years, so much so that you get out of it and go back into it and it feels like home. So I've created safe space to say goodbye to everybody that's ever been in my life. I tried to care about you. I tried to fit in your world. And that didn't work for me. So I'm creating my own life, and I would very much appreciate it if y'all would stop trying to tear me down. Just look the other way if you're not gonna help. I don't need you to come make me pathetic. I don't need you to come fill your cup with how good you are and how much your church would help me. Or how if I just did this way or that way, if I just took my medication. Let me be clear. My body never felt this loud until I went into spaces where I was told I was powerful and I was doing a great job, and then dismissed. When I knew I was a peasant, I knew I was a peasant. And I was working my butt off. Okay? Now I'm doing something with everybody kicking me in the teeth every week since November. I'm still standing. So no, I'm not gonna cry about it. I might cry a little, but I'm not gonna wallow. And there's a difference between feeling and creating safety and allowing yourself to collapse. And collapse isn't just crying. Collapse is freezing. It's staying in the same situation when you knew that this was not for you. This, hanging out with these people who just could not care anything about anything. Not that it makes me better than them, but it does nothing for me. And so why am I here? Because when I was over there and they were telling me God was good, and I just had to, lay down and work for free, that was one thing. And the worst part is, I already knew that wasn't for me, so I dismissed myself. I didn't create safety to have my own opinion at the time. So this is now the 4th time I'm learning this lesson. And so I'm here to create safety, to say, I made this mess in my life. Me. I'm the common denominator. Everybody else I deleted from Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, their lives are continuing. So this is my mess to clean up. But there's a lot of us that are going to have this mess to clean up soon. And I hope that the safety that I create can do something to create safety in you for yourself. And so it doesn't feel good to say, the people after me are a product of the people I surrounded myself with. But that's the fact. I need water. And so why am I publishing all of these chat GPT things and just asking questions and not actually saying more? Well, in part because you probably already know a lot of the assumptions that I was making, that I'm just cluing into. I know I felt like I was crawling out from under a rock in 2017 when I left that church. They call themselves an organization, which is kind of worse. It's kind of terrifying now that I know what I know. And I see it. And it's not out of malice. Some of us have so many generations of these attitudes that it's out of malice. And some of us have continued in these situations, not out of true helplessness. Obviously there was real situations, but out of true helplessness, but out of implied helplessness. I made choices that I could have made differently. I could have honored what I knew and how I was used to living, despite the pressure to conform to a new way of living. I had the choice to learn from the people around me or do what they were doing. And I chose to engage with the people in the crowds that they were in, which exposed me as a naive person to some really awful people. And thankfully, I have acted with integrity, and so I've not been used to my knowledge. But I suspect a lot of the people that I believe are involved have. And so this is why my work is really devastating, especially with the examples we have on the public stage right now. Because a lot of people are going to realize internally that they've acted outside of themselves, and that in fact, it may not have been themselves. Somebody may have been using an awareness of our body and our physiology and our technology and our own naivety and trusting nature to use it against us once they were done with whatever it was their plan was, or once their plan was not moving forward in the way that they'd hoped they could easily control. And so I'm standing here because later I've got to post some videos about being in my feels. That's part of my safety accountability. But I get to choose how I do that. Not everyone deserves to see how you experience your reality in its fullness. Not everybody has the bandwidth to not see it as a threat, even though there's nothing that you're doing that is threatening, other than having a completely different experience that makes their body feel like it's in danger. But because you're the anomaly, it's easy to point the finger. So I just want to remind us that we need to create safety, and also we get to decide who sees us. Just because we knew them, just because they know our parents, just because they live next door, if they don't feel safe to you, even though it's not their fault, you get to say, you know what, I need some space today. Thank you. Or when that guy comes up to the door that you're not expecting, I don't have to open it. Nah. Or when I have a plan and somebody seems to know about it, how? Well, that's a mystery why everybody knows where I'm going, what even I'm doing inside and outside my house. It's been that way for a long time. And so when I think about that, I'm accountable to me. I'm not accountable to them. If I don't do my job and I don't figure out a way how to continue to propel myself forward while also anchored into my values and honoring my well-being and safety and health, then I'm never going to feel safe, because that's the environment of the world. Everybody's responsible for themselves. And so I need to create the safety to just be responsible for myself. That doesn't mean I'm not going to contribute to the community as I am now by open kimono. Here are all the ways I'm being sliced and diced, and I did it to myself. Or I allowed people in my life that valued other people like this, including the people I was raised by. So I still have to do the thing. This is now a 28-minute thing, so this might just be the podcast of safety now. It's supposed to be a warm-up, but this is just as well. You get to see how I talk my nervous system back to the here and now, but doing it in my mind doesn't help me. I need my body, because escaping my body is what's causing my nervous system to go haywire at a time when it was overwhelmed, when it was in its development early. And so, does it serve me to go digging? I mean, I figured a lot of things out, but I don't want that life. I don't want to go backwards. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time there. And the value that I've come to it, which is the same with tarot and religion and religious scripts and holy scripts, is this: somebody somewhere tried to explain the world to someone and the function of something to someone. They only had the context in their mind and in their body. And then when they didn't understand, because they weren't understanding the other person, they took it upon themselves to fix the situation that didn't require fixing. It just needed to be managed differently. And now I see that we just don't know how to act because we don't know how to be when we are in challenging situations. And so my eyesight gets disrupted because my nerves get inflamed, and all that means is I just see light brighter. And I might need some sunglasses. And so, but you might have interpreted that a certain way. So now that I know that, when my eyes feel loud, I'm gonna anchor into my feet a little more. Because that just means I need more safety to have all of this energy that's blasting to my brain right now to calm down. And every time that I become aware of that, I can toggle that. I can say, oh, I don't want this on. Off, off, off. And it doesn't go off by bullying it or telling me that I don't deserve to have it. It goes off by me creating space to acknowledge it and hear the message. So right now, my solar plexus are the digestive tract is always the first one to get disrupted when you're anxious. So if you're suddenly thirsty, that's a good sign to be aware of. So I use language that activated me because I'm still relating it to a disempowered state. And so as soon as I clue in, oh, that's not for that moment, I can tell my body, okay, time to calm it down. So right now it's really heavy. So I'm just gonna stop talking. I'm gonna stop and play music. So I don't know what part will make it to the podcast for the Somatic CEO for the dancing piece, where I'm just trying to bring my body back to here and now because it's activated. And really all I'm doing is grounding and connecting because I know I'm not in any danger. I'm okay. So this just gives me permission to rewire that to a much more comfortable experience and relate to it. Let it be here in that intensity, but give it permission to be someplace different. And so my breath is really short right now. Okay, so I'm gonna play the music and start the recording.